Welcome to my YouTube channel. Have you ever looked at a simple penny and thought, could this little coin be worth a fortune? Well, what if I told you that a 1967 1-cent coin could actually be worth more than $193 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But this coin's history and the way it came to be could turn that penny into big money. Stay tuned as we dive into the fascinating story of the 1967 1-cent coin. Today, we're talking about a coin that most of us have seen in our change without giving it a second thought, the 1967 1-cent coin. But trust me, this isn't just any ordinary penny. It's an example of how history, rarity, and a bit of mystery can turn a simple coin into something incredibly valuable. So, let's get into the history and value of this rare treasure. Grab your magnifying glass. This is going to be exciting. To understand why the 1967 penny is worth so much, let's first take a look at the history behind it. The 1-cent coin, also known as the penny, has been a staple of American currency since its creation in 1793. Over the years, the design and composition of the coin have undergone several changes. By 1967, the U.S. Mint was facing a major shift in the materials used to create coins. The country was going through some major economic changes, and the rising cost of copper was making it more expensive to produce pennies. Traditionally, U.S. pennies had been made from 95% copper, but in the 1960s, the price of copper began to soar. To save money, the mint began to experiment with different compositions. In 1965, they introduced a new nickel-copper blend for dimes and quarters. But pennies? The change came just a little later. In 1967, pennies were still made of 95% copper, but there was something a bit unusual about the year. The mint was starting to experiment with what would become the modern penny design, a copper-coated zinc coin introduced just a few years later. But that's not all that makes the 1967 penny special. Some of these coins were struck in a very unique way, leading to a shocking outcome. Here's where things get interesting. There are some 1967 pennies out there that were accidentally minted with errors, making them worth an astronomical amount of money. These error coins are incredibly rare, and one of them, in particular, has been valued at an unbelievable $193 million. In some cases, these coins were misstruck or produced with defects that made them different from regular pennies. For example, some were struck with an off-center design, or there was an issue with the pressure used to mint them. This resulted in coins that are one of a kind and extremely sought after by collectors. The most famous of these error coins is the 1967 double-die obverse penny. These pennies were mistakenly struck twice during the minting process, giving the coin a doubled appearance, meaning the design on the obverse, that's the front, with Abraham Lincoln's profile, appears blurry or doubled. It sounds simple, but these kinds of mistakes are extremely rare and highly valued by collectors. The double-die error on a 1967 penny might not seem like much to the untrained eye, but to a coin collector, it's a jackpot. So, what makes these coins worth so much money? Let's break down the value. A regular 1967 penny in average condition is worth, well, just 1 cent. Nothing special. But when you start talking about these error coins, things get wild. Coins with significant errors, like the double-die variety, can sell for thousands, or even millions of dollars, depending on their rarity and condition. And one particular 1967 double-die penny has been valued at an eye-watering $193 million. Now I know what you're thinking, how could a simple penny be worth that much? The reason behind this insane value is rarity. While the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies in 1967, only a small number of these error coins were ever created. And among those, fewer have survived in good condition. The market for rare coins is driven by collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for unique, historical, and rare items. And if you have a 1967 penny with an error like the double die, you're sitting on a small fortune. That's why it's important to examine any pennies you find from this year closely. You might have something worth a lot more than just 1 cent. So how do you know if you've found one of these valuable coins? It's all about the details. Start by looking at the obverse, the side with Abraham Lincoln. If you notice any blurring or a doubled image, you might have a double die error coin on your hands. Pay close attention to the date and the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If they appear doubled or off-center, that's a clear sign of an error. You also want to look for any other imperfections that might make your penny stand out from the crowd. These could include misprints, die cracks, or even strange marks from the minting process. If you think you've found something unusual, it's best to have it professionally graded by a coin expert. The 1967 1-cent coin may seem like just another penny at first glance, but with its unique history and rare error coins, it could be worth a fortune. Who knows? That penny you find in your pocket change might just be worth millions. So, next time you get a handful of coins, take a closer look. You never know what you might be holding in your hand. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more fascinating content, and leave a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let me know! Until next time, happy hunting for your next big find. Next, if you're a coin collector, history buff, or just someone who loves cool discoveries, today's video is for you. What if I told you that a simple, everyday 1-cent coin, the kind you've probably got lying around in your change jar, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $166 million? Yeah, you heard that right. The 1982 1-cent coin has some fascinating history, and in some cases, these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine. Let's dive into the story behind this incredible piece of American history. Before we jump into why a 1982 penny might be worth millions, let's take a quick look at what makes any coin valuable. Typically, a coin's value depends on a few key factors: rarity, condition, and historical significance. If you've got a rare coin, especially one that was made in limited quantities or under unusual circumstances, its value can skyrocket. Also, the condition matters a lot. A coin in pristine condition, often referred to as mint state or uncirculated, will be worth much more than one that's worn down or damaged. And of course, the historical context plays a big role too. Some coins become valuable because of their unique backstory. Now, let's zoom in on the 1982 penny. At first glance, it seems like just another 1-cent coin, right? But as we're about to discover, it's anything but ordinary. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major change to the composition of the penny. For decades, the penny was primarily made of copper, which gave it its signature color and weight. But during the early 1980s, the price of copper skyrocketed, and the U.S. government decided to make a significant change to how pennies were produced. The result? A shift from a 95% copper and 5% zinc composition to a new blend of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper for the penny's outer shell. This new formula was much cheaper to produce, but here's the catch: it led to some interesting variations in the minting process. The U.S. Mint actually produced two different types of pennies in 1982, the copper-based ones and the zinc-based ones. This difference, while seemingly small, has had a huge impact on the coin's value. So why does this matter? Well, there's a very specific variation of the 1982 penny that's worth an insane amount of money today: the 1982 copper penny, the one that was produced before the switch to zinc. Here's where it gets interesting. There are reports of a very small number of 1982 pennies that were accidentally struck with the copper formula, even after the switch was made. These are the holy grail for coin collectors. According to some experts, only a few of these copper pennies were produced during that transition period. If you happen to find one, you could be sitting on a fortune. In fact, in 2012, a single 1982 copper penny was sold for over $1.7 million. And while the coin's price has fluctuated over the years, it's not unheard of for these pennies to fetch anywhere near $166 million if they're in mint condition and graded perfectly. Now, let's talk numbers. This is where things get really mind-blowing. The reason why this coin could potentially be worth $166 million lies in its rarity, and the way it's perceived in the coin collecting world. With so few of these coins in existence, and the demand growing, experts are predicting that the price for the 1982 copper penny could continue to rise. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I've got one of these rare pennies? It's a great question, and here's how you can spot one. The 1982 copper penny will have a distinctive weight and color. Since it's made mostly of copper, it will weigh slightly more than the zinc version, and it will have that familiar reddish hue. To differentiate, all you need is a scale. The copper version weighs about 3.11 grams, while the zinc version weighs only 2.5 grams. It's also a good idea to have a magnifying glass to inspect the coin's surface. If the penny looks a bit different from the others you've got, especially in terms of the color or surface texture, you might have a winner. Now, why does the 1982 penny matter so much in the larger history of U.S. currency? Well, this coin marks a significant moment in American numismatic history. The decision to change the penny's composition reflected broader economic changes in the U.S., particularly with rising metal prices and inflation. It also represents a major technological shift in minting practices that would continue into the future. But what's even more fascinating is how the 1982 penny has become a symbol of rarity, unexpected value, and even a bit of luck. If you find one of these rare copper pennies, you've not just stumbled upon a coin, you've found a piece of history that's been hidden for decades. So, after all this, the big question is your 1982 penny worth millions? Maybe not. But with the right condition and a bit of luck, it could be worth far more than its face value. Remember, the key factors are rarity, demand, and condition. And if you've got one of these rare copper pennies, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Keep an eye on your change, folks. You never know when you might have found a hidden treasure. If you like this video and want to learn more about the world of coin collecting and rare finds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment down below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let us know your story, we'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting! Next. If you're passionate about rare coins or simply enjoy discovering hidden treasures, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about an unusual coin that many might overlook, the 2013 D1 coin, also known as the 2013 Lincoln penny. But hold on, this isn't just any penny. This particular coin could be worth a staggering $16 million. Yes, you heard that right, $16 million. Stick around as we dive deep into the fascinating history and shocking value of this 1-cent piece. The 2013 D1 coin, produced by the U.S. Mint, might seem like a typical penny at first glance. After all, it's part of the series that's been circulating since the early 1900s. It's composed of copper-plated zinc and has a diameter of 0.75 inches, weighing just 2.5 grams. It features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse. Simple, right? However, the story behind this penny isn't quite as simple as you might think. In 2013, the U.S. Mint produced over 4 billion pennies, with the D mint mark signifying that it was minted in Denver. The face value of the coin is, of course, 1 cent, which is equivalent to 1 cent, or a fraction of the value of a single dollar. But here's where things get interesting. Certain 2013 D pennies have been reported to be worth far, far more than that. Now, let's address the big question. Why would a 2013 D penny be worth $16 million? Well, the value of any coin is typically determined by its rarity, condition, and most importantly, any unique features that make it stand out from the rest. While the majority of 2013 D pennies are worth only their face value, there are a select few that have become the subject of intense interest and speculation in the coin collecting world. This particular penny that could fetch up to $16 million is said to have a rare error. In this case, it's a mistake that occurred during the minting process that made this penny extraordinarily unique. Sometimes, during the minting process, a coin can be struck with an error that makes it stand out. Errors can range from double strikes to off-center prints, and even incorrect metal composition. In the case of the 2013 D penny in question, experts believe the coin contains an error that makes it a true one-of-a-kind treasure. Imagine a coin that was struck multiple times, creating an overstruck image, or one that has a design flaw due to an imperfect die. These types of coins are incredibly rare and can skyrocket in value due to their scarcity. But how did this particular penny end up being worth a mind-blowing $16 million? Some experts believe this coin might have been struck with an unknown die error, giving it a much higher value than any typical penny produced in 2013. But there's still a lot of mystery surrounding this coin, which has fueled its fascination and sky-high valuation in the numismatic community. Just like in treasure hunts and stories about hidden riches, the 2013 D penny that could be worth millions didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was discovered by a curious collector who noticed something strange about their penny while browsing through their coin collection. This collector didn't realize at first that they were holding a once-in-a-lifetime find, but after doing some research and consulting with coin experts, the true rarity of the penny became clear. Experts from major auction houses and numismatic societies were contacted to verify its authenticity. And when they confirmed that the error was genuine, the excitement around this penny exploded. It was quickly brought to auctions, where speculation about its worth grew higher and higher. Some believed it could fetch anywhere from hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. But the high-end estimates, such as the $16 million value, came from its extreme rarity and the potential for this coin to be one of a kind. Coin collectors, investors, and even those looking to make a fortune were all keeping their eyes on the prize, hoping to snag this rare penny for their own collections. So, how did this coin get a $16 million price tag? Well, the number may sound unbelievable, but when it comes to rare coins, there's no telling just how high their value can go. While it's difficult to predict the exact amount this penny could sell for at auction, the coin has been appraised by several experts in the field. Due to its rare minting error and scarcity, it could potentially break records for the most expensive penny ever sold. For perspective, the most famous rare penny in history, the 1943 copper penny, was sold for around $1.7 million at an auction. So, if the 2013 D penny's error is as unique as some experts believe, the $16 million price tag may not be as far-fetched as it sounds. Of course, only time will tell if this penny will reach such a high price, but one thing's for sure, it's already sparked incredible interest in the coin collecting world, and its value is only expected to grow as more collectors and investors chase after this elusive treasure. Coins like the 2013 D penny remind us that even the most ordinary items can hold extraordinary value. Whether it's a rare minting error, an obscure historical connection, or just the unique circumstances of its creation, rare coins continue to fascinate collectors and investors alike. So, if you're out there scouring through your change, don't dismiss that penny just yet. It could be the key to your next big find. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin stories and rare finds. And who knows, maybe the next $16 million penny is sitting in your pocket right now. Last. Today, we're diving into something that will blow your mind, a coin that's worth far more than its face value. That's right, we're talking about the 2004 US penny. But don't let its small size and simple design fool you. This 1-cent coin is actually worth a jaw-dropping $37 million. Sounds unbelievable? Stick with us to find out how this seemingly ordinary penny became worth so much money, and what makes it so special. Let's go! Before we dive into the mind-blowing details of the 2004 penny, let's first take a step back and talk about the history of the US penny. The penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, has been a staple in American currency for over 2 centuries. It all started back in 1793, when the U.S. Mint first issued the coin to help stabilize the country's financial system after gaining independence. Since then, the design of the penny has evolved, with various notable figures, like Abraham Lincoln, appearing on the front. But throughout the years, one thing has remained constant: the penny's low value. In fact, the 1-cent coin has always been one of the smallest denominations in American currency. Fast forward to the year 2004, and the penny still features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, that's the front, while the reverse, back, has gone through various designs. In 2004, we saw the introduction of the Presidency Series, which honored the 4 presidential memorials in Washington, D.C. Now, let's get to the star of the show, the 2004 penny that's worth a staggering $37 million. You may be wondering, what makes this coin so special? Well, it's not the typical pennies you find in your spare change. This one is an error coin. Error coins are any coins that have been struck in a way that deviates from the intended design. And it's these types of rare mistakes that can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a collector's dream, and a serious payday. In the case of the 2004 penny we're talking about, it was accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, a term for the metal blank that a coin is made from. Instead of the normal copper-plated zinc planchet, this penny was mistakenly struck on a 1943 steel penny planchet. Now you might be asking, what's so special about a 1943 steel penny? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Back in 1943, due to a shortage of copper during World War II, the U.S. Mint produced pennies made from steel instead of copper. This was a one-time event, and only around 1 billion steel pennies were minted that year. These steel pennies were only made in 1943, and once the war was over, the U.S. Mint returned to using the traditional copper composition for pennies. So, finding a steel penny from 1943 in circulation today is incredibly rare, but finding one from 2004 is downright astonishing. So, how much is this penny worth? The key here is rarity and the error in production. Since only one known 2004 penny exists that was struck on a 1943 steel planchet, it's an incredibly rare find. As with all rare error coins, collectors are willing to pay a premium for such a mistake, and this penny is no exception. Experts have valued this penny at around $37 million, which is a staggering amount for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. Why? Because of the combination of rarity, historical significance, and the fact that it's an unintentional mashup of 2 iconic coins from different eras. The penny has been independently appraised, and experts believe it could fetch even more at auction, depending on the demand from collectors. You might think that sounds crazy, but if you understand how rare and important error coins are, the price makes sense. Now you might be wondering, why are error coins so valuable in the first place? Well, error coins can have unique characteristics that make them highly collectible. Things like off-center strikes, double strikes, or missing details can create a coin unlike anything else in circulation. Collectors go crazy for these kinds of coins because they offer something rare, something that simply can't be replicated. When it comes to rare coins, it's all about how unique they are. And trust me, when it comes to the 2004 penny struck on a 1943 steel planchet, it doesn't get much rarer than that. So, how do you know if you've stumbled upon a rare penny like this? Well, first off, check the weight and the composition. The 1943 steel pennies are much lighter than a standard penny. If your 2004 penny feels a little off, it might be worth checking out. To make sure you're dealing with a real error coin, you might also want to have it professionally evaluated. A reputable coin dealer or appraiser can help determine if your penny is the real deal. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 2004 US penny worth $37 million. It's a testament to how something as simple as a mistake at the mint can turn into a financial windfall. Remember, always check your coins, because you never know what hidden treasures you might have in your collection. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. Until next time, happy collecting!